So let's dive into it. In no particular order, the top 5 health, nutrition, and longevity experts that you can actually trust on the internet. Welcome to First Responder Fitness with Carl Wimmer, where armor is forged through mental, spiritual, and physical preparation. Welcome to First Responder Fitness with Carl Wimmer, my friends. I am Carl Wimmer, your host, and I thank you for joining me again this week for another episode. You know, we here at First Responder Fitness are absolutely dedicated to helping you in life with your physical fitness, your mental fitness, and your spiritual fitness. We're especially dedicated to you first responders, you men and women in law enforcement and in the fire service. We love you, we support you, and we are always here to help you along your way to accomplish your goals, because honestly, you have a bright future ahead of you. You know, one of the best things about being in public safety is the fact that you get to retire fairly early. But what good is that if you retire into sickness and despair? We're here to help, and we're here to make sure that does not happen to any of you. I encourage you to subscribe, to like this video, and to share it with your friends and your loved ones who are interested in fitness, health, longevity, or are in the first responder community. Well, today's episode is one that is birthed out of recent news involving the collapse of one of the biggest online influencers, fitness influencers of recent years. This charlatan, this scammer, this person who sold you a bag of goods, who appears to have had a mental breakdown. Yes, I am talking about the one and only Brian Johnson, the Liver King. That is, he is the name that is on everybody's lips. He's being talked about in every podcast right now. And so I don't want to have to go over everything that has happened or transpired in his life. In all honesty, I wish the Liver King nothing but the best. I wish his family nothing but the best. I hope that he gets the mental help he needs, because it's very obvious just watching from the outside that he has had a mental break that doesn't end well. And my heart goes out to those who are suffering from mental disease, those who are struggling in life, period. I don't like to see anybody suffer. I don't like to see anybody. I don't get any good feelings or any reward or any. I get nothing from watching the downfall of another human being, and neither do you. We really should not celebrate when people collapse. We should not get some cathartic experience out of the destruction and the downfall of people. We should be there to help them up. And so I really sincerely do wish the Liver King the best. I wish his family the best. But the truth is, he's always peddled a bag of goods. He's always talked about these ancestral tenets and told you that you should eat raw liver and you should eat raw bone marrow and you should do this and do that. And now his health markers are absolutely horrific and in the toilet. He is in terrible, terrible physical health when it comes to longevity. I hope he makes some changes so that he can live to see 55 or 60 years old. If he doesn't, I'm not sure that he will. And his recent mental break where he threatens to fight and hurt Joe Rogan, a trained fighter, Joe Rogan. Sorry, Brian, you're not going to win that fight, my friend. Now, I know you have a flamethrower and an M60 and a whole lot of other cool guns, and but you would need those. You're not going to beat him in a one-on-one fight. There's a major difference between a trained, skilled fighter and someone who is just strong and in shape. And failure to understand that could be the most painful harmful experience of a weightlifter bodybuilder's life. I completely understand the difference between being strong in the gym, being stronger than most people, and being able to actually physically control most people versus fighting someone who has actual training fighting skill. There is no comparison. And there's very little crossover from the gym into a fighting platform. And thankfully for Liver King, the police intervened and arrested him so that he would not have to come to know that in a very intimate way. Well, this episode is not about Liver King, though. This episode actually is the exact opposite. You know, there is so much garbage on the internet today. There is so much misinformation in a world flooded with just trash influencers, fake natties, liver kings, and self-appointed gurus telling you, what to do and selling you snake oil, fake abs, and blown up, drugged out bodies. How do you know who you can trust? I was having this conversation not just a day or two ago, and somebody said, well, how do you even know what health and nutrition to follow, because it changes all the time? And no, it doesn't. What changes all the time is the headlines. Okay. If you are a headline chaser, you are one of those who is confused about, oh, gee, is this good for me now? Or is this bad for me? What's good for you? It was bad for me last year. Now it's good for me. I'm so confused. No, the fact is that only comes from the headline chasers, from headline experts. If you learn how to research or read an actual scientific study, you would learn that health and nutrition science has really not changed that much. And it doesn't change that fast. I mean, erythritol, it's bad for you. No, it's good for you. It's bad for you. Okay, it doesn't change that fast. Read the research. Read some of the studies. Do yourself a favor and learn how to read a scientific study, a scientific journal. We're going to talk about someone who actually can teach you to do that here in just a minute. But the fact is, there is so much noise out there, so much garbage on the internet. I want to give you 10 people, 10 influencers, 10 names in the health, fitness, longevity arena who you can trust, who get the first responder fitness stamp of approval. How about that? Today, we're going to highlight 5, and next week we'll highlight 5 more. This episode should act as your filter, kind of your BS detector. I'm not here to sell you hype. I'm not here for any other reason to help you understand that there are trusted, proven experts out there who are fighting the good fight. These are men and women who combine science, experience, and integrity, and you should be learning from them and be tuning out all the other charlatans. I want to help you think critically and build a strong foundation of truth so you can actually transform your body, your mind, and your life. So let's dive into it. In no particular order, the top 5 health, nutrition, and longevity experts that you can actually trust on the internet. And we will begin with the longevity architect himself, Dr. Peter Attia. If you're not following Dr. Peter Attia, a Stanford-trained physician and one of the most respected voices in the longevity space, you are missing out. His podcast, The Drive, that he co-hosts, that he hosts, is absolutely fantastic. He doesn't dumb things down. You almost need a doctorate degree to understand him sometimes, but it is phenomenal. And if you haven't purchase his book, Outlive. I have a link in my link tree where you can actually go through my link and purchase his book, Outlive, which is a book that should be on every bookshelf in America. He blends cutting edge science with real life application. In fact, I just finished, well, I'm not done yet, but he has a protein bar out now. It's called the David Protein Bar. This one is the chocolate chip cookie dough flavored one. It's fantastic. I love it. I put it in the fridge, let it get cold. I love it. There is no protein bar on the planet that has the macros that this thing does. 28 grams of protein, 150 calories. 28 grams of protein, 150 calories. There is nothing that can match it as far as the macros go. But I digress. You can trust Dr. Peter Attia because he is meticulous. He is data-driven, and he's incredibly honest about what we do and do not know when it comes to longevity and performance. He practices what he preaches. He's in shape. He pushes boundaries and always comes back to the hard science. He is not afraid to say when we don't know something. I learned one of my most favorite words on the planet from Dr. Peter Attia. It is the word ultracrepidarian. Ultracrepidarian is someone who thinks they know more than they do, or they pretend they know more than they do. And so they will pontificate and spread garbage all over the place because they're like a child who has a teeny bit of information and they want to share it with everybody, even though they have no idea what they're talking about. Don't be an ultracrepidarian. And Dr. Peter Attia strives very hard not to be. His strengths, of course, are in longevity, metabolic health, exercise physiology, and he does deep dives into fasting, VO2 max, strength, and biomarkers. I have him to thank for a lot of the blood work that I have gotten done, for the VO2 max training that I have gotten done and that I talk about on this channel. Much of the information that I am giving you comes from basic ideas from Dr. Peter Attia. He doesn't sell gimmicks. He sells consistent, science-backed information and data. He'll challenge you to think long-term. So I definitely support him. Number 2 of the fitness influencers that you can trust is the one I refer to as the science smasher, the one who wants you to learn how to read a scientific journal, the one who you should follow if you have questions. Is erythritol bad? No, it's not. Spoiler alert. And that is Dr. Layne Norton. Dr. Layne Norton is a natural pro bodybuilder and powerlifter with a PhD in nutritional sciences. He is a brother in powerlifting. He is a competitive powerlifter today, whereas I was world champion more than 10 years ago before fracturing my spine. But Dr. Layne Norton, the only thing stronger than his body is his brain. He is a fierce defender of evidence-based fitness. And his channels on Instagram, YouTube, and elsewhere are dedicated to debunking probably more fitness BS than anybody else on the internet. He insists that randomized controlled trials, human randomized controlled trials, be the go-to when it comes to research and science. And he's absolutely right. Absolutely right. You can trust him because he cites studies. He understands nuance, which is something that is missing in this nutrition exercise sphere. And he holds everybody accountable. I'm not big enough. I don't have a big enough reach for him to try to debunk me yet, but I'd be honored one day if he did try. I try to be very meticulous in the information I give you, and I think that he would actually endorse and support much of what I have said, although I can't say that exclusively or conclusively. He's aggressive in his tone at times. He's loud. He's a little obnoxious. He does that on purpose just to make sure that people are watching. But he genuinely wants people to stop being manipulated. He wants you to listen and learn. He is an expert in fat loss and muscle building, debunking nutrition myths, the sugar is toxic or the insulin makes you fat myths, these types of things, the erythritol myth, all sorts of myths, that you can lose fat without being in a calorie deficit. He is solid science-based. He's real talk. If you want hype, he's not your guy. If you want truth, Layne Norton delivers. Number 3 on my list of influencers who you can trust, and I have only recently become aware of this guy, and I am big on him. We say a lot of the same things. We have a similar background. He was a powerlifter. He was in the fighting sports. He is still in the fighting sports, and that is Mike Dolce. Mike Dolce is the athlete's coach. This guy is a former MMA fighter turned elite nutrition coach. He has coached more UFC champions than anybody else. I believe he's in the UFC MMA Hall of Fame for being a nutrition and fitness coach for more fighters than anybody else. He always had his guys and his women on in shape, on time for the weigh-in. He knows what he's talking about. And it's ironic because I know him and Layne Norton have a thing going back and forth where they throw barbs at each other. I like them both. You can trust Mike Dolce, because he is boots on the ground. He is someone who puts the rubber to the road and actually gets it done. He opposes all of these radical, extreme nutritional diets, the carnivore, the paleo, the vegan, the this, the that. No, he continues to propose and support single ingredient whole foods. That is something, those are words that people from my background and people from his background, we use the same language. Single ingredient, that means not a bunch of processed garbage. You need single ingredients, wholesome whole foods to make up the majority of your diet. I have spoken about that for quite some time. He is the OG of single ingredients, wholesome whole foods. His system is built around real food, not processed junk. He has built his system on performance-based results. He gets results. And most importantly, sustainability. If you cannot sustain a lifestyle, a nutrition lifestyle, then what good is it? He builds a lifestyle of sustainability through his Dolce diet and Dolce nutrition coaching. Huge supporter of his, and I really recommend that you tune in to Mike Dolce. He trains assassins, man. He trains the best athletes in the world. And if world-class athletes trust him with their performance, you can too. First responder, you can too. The next person on my list is someone who I adore. She is the research maven, and this is Dr. Rhonda Patrick. She is a PhD in biomedical science. She's a researcher. She is the founder of an organization called Found My Fitness, someone that you should be following on Instagram and YouTube. This is someone you should follow. She is a leading educator on how nutrition, supplements, and lifestyle interventions affect your body and your brain. She has taught me by listening and learning from her. I have learned more about sauna use than I have from any other person. And I have taken deep dives on sauna use because of her advocacy of sauna and the benefits against neurodegenerative diseases. I bought a sauna based on the research that I did after listening to her for quite some time when it came to sauna use. She knows what she's talking about. She's unassuming, and sometimes people misunderstand what she is saying, and they think that she's just another face on the internet because she is humble. But the fact is, she has more going on between her two ears than any two people, and she does her research. Her strengths are in the micronutrients research areas, aging, brain health, super important, sauna, fasting, hormesis. These types of things are where she shines. She doesn't jump on trends. She just educates from the research, much of the research that she does herself, and tells you when we don't yet know enough. Again, not an ultra-crepidarian, not someone who's going to pretend they know more than they do. She is someone who is willing to say, I don't know. That is critical. Number 5 this week, and I'm going to give you 5 more next week. Number 5 is the OG of evidence-based nutrition, Aragon. He is a pioneer in fitness and nutrition in the nutrition industry. For over 30 years, this guy has been just pioneering fitness and nutrition data for all of us. If you are in good condition, if you have followed nutritional experts, if you have followed personal training experts, there is a very good chance that you could train your lineage back to Aragon. He is, there's very few areas in fitness and nutrition that he has not influenced and touched. He is the author of Flexible Dieting, and he is a researcher who does real boots on the ground research. Why can you trust Alan? Well, he has helped define evidence-based nutrition. Long before it was cool, Alan was working on evidence-based nutrition facts. He's respected by everyone in the field, and he holds a rare combination of deep science and practical application. Very hard to beat Dr. Aragon. I highly encourage you start following him, looking at his research, and listening to him. Cut out the nonsense, listen to him. He also does a fair amount of debunking as well. Not as much as Layne Norton, but he does a lot of debunking of just nonsensical fitness trends. His strengths are macronutrients optimization, fat loss, muscle gain, nutrition, long-term sustainable strategies. His advice doesn't just work, it lasts the test of time. He's not afraid to update his stance if science evolves, if new information comes in, he's not afraid to update his stance and point out the nuances of the research. He is definitely someone that should be in your top 5 or 10 influencers to follow. Ultimately, there's a bigger problem. There's so many people who claim to be experts. Some yell louder than others. Some have better abs. Some go viral on TikTok. But when it comes to changing your life, your performance, your health, your longevity, you don't need hype. You don't need the next cool thing. You need the truth. These 5 people certainly are not perfect, but they are absolutely trustworthy. They are battle tested, and they've stood the test of time. So I want to challenge you. As the host of First Responder Fitness, I want to challenge you. Stop getting your health advice from Instagram memes and radical extreme dieters and steroid-fueled influencers, or people who have a great body and nice hair like V-Shred but don't know a damn thing about what they're talking about. Instead, build your information diet with people who've done the work, who live it, who know it inside and out, who can show you why what they say works. That's very important. And people who do not hide behind fake filters and fake plates. Well, that's it. Next week, I'm going to give you 5 more influencers who you can trust. But I encourage you to share this episode with a friend who's trying to get their health and fitness dialed in. Subscribe, leave a review if this has helped you sort out some truth from the trash. Watch other episodes, watch full episodes on YouTube, listen on Spotify. Links are in the description. And I encourage you to tune in again next week. I am Carl Wimmer with First Responder Fitness, encouraging you to be good to yourself, be good to others, and as always, stay safe.